Hi friends, good evening. Welcome to this RTP session on Advanced Auditing RTP for May 23 examination. Now, many students keep on asking me that, sir, we've done our classes. Are there any amendments which are to be done? And see, all the amendments which are always coming up, I come up with this RTP only. So, you know, RTP covers all your amendments majorly. So, if you have attended Okay, so we have a batch basically in Unacademy. If you have attended a regular batch, okay, you just need to do additionally two things. Number one is RTP November 22 and number two is RTP May 23. So if you have attended a regular batch at Unacademy, just do these two things, RTP November 22 and RTP May 23. We have come out with the sessions every time. So today we are going to discuss is RTP May 23. November 22 RTP discussion has already taken place. Still, what I'll do, I'll share the link of both the RTPs in our Telegram channel. Now, those students who attended a fast track batch, okay, the fast track batch at Unacademy is a bit older. So if someone has attended a fast track batch, they will have to do additionally the amendment session which I came up. Basically, that is one. Then they have to do is basically RTP November 22, RTP May 23. Okay. So those who have attended a fast track batch have to do an amendment session which is already undertaken. Now, sir, which one it is? We don't know the link. I'll share the link of this on our Telegram channel tomorrow. So on a Telegram channel, those who have done a regular one, they will have to do two things. Those who have attended a fast track one, they have to do additionally three things. Okay, so now focusing today on RTP May 23, let's begin. And I hope your exam preparations are going on very well. Yes, exams are now very nearer. So make sure you are preparing adequately. 10 to 12 hours a day is must from your side. Now, sir, major amendments are in which chapter? The major amendments are in two chapters. NBFC and your peer review. The major amendments are in two chapters. There are other small amendments also in other chapter, but this two chapter, audit, this peer review and NBFC, there is a lot of amendments. Let's check out. Coming to first of all, amendment which is there in your company audit, the definition of small company. When do I say it is a small company? So there was a limit given. The paid up capital was 2 crores, turnover is 20 crores. The paid up capital does not exceed 2, turnover does not exceed 20. Now that 2 and 20 are made 4 and 40. So your paid up capital is now does not exceed 4 crore and turnover does not exceed 40 crore. So this is the first change. The definition of small company is changed. Now I get so many doubts that, sir, if at all there's a private company, and they are covered in small company also, so they get exemption in Caro via that small company. The small company mein turnover 40 crore is written. But if you just recall the exemption of Caro exemption, private companies, उसमें वहां पे लिखा था paid up capital does not exceed 1 crore, turnover does not exceed 10 crore. So that was 10, but sir, this is 40. Even if the turnover is up to 40 crores, you will be in small company. Small company ho, you get exemption as a small company. Caro not applicable. Okay, are you clear? First one is the small company's definition has changed. Okay, second, there are some amendments given of audit committee and corporate governance. This audit committee and corporate governance, these are already covered in RTP November 22. Okay. If you refer to a session of RTP November 22, all this amendments of chapter 7, they are same. So what ICI does is, it's not like they give it one time, they try to give it for 2-3 times to student. So sir, are this anything new over here? Answer is no. This chapter 7 amendments are the same one which have been already covered in RTP November 22. I'm not doing it again. If you want to refer, you can refer our RTP session for November 22 examination. Moving down, next one. Moving down to next one, and in this, I tell you one point which was important was the risk management committee ka role was changed. Risk management committee's role was changed. Now coming to your chapter of NBFC. Now coming to the chapter of NBFC. Okay, in your chapter of NBFC, the classification of NBFC is changed. I repeat, what is changed? The classification. If you remember earlier, the NBFCs were basically classified in 3 categories: deposit taking, non-deposit taking. And in non-deposit taking also, in ND, non-deposit taking also, if your asset size is more than 500 crore, you're systematically important. That was deposit taking, non-deposit taking. In non-deposit taking, there were 2 things: systematically important and not systematically important. So normal, there were 3 classification: NBFC non-deposit taking, NBFC non-deposit taking but systematically important, and NBFCs which are deposit taking. And then as per the activities what they were doing, there were a lot of classification like investment and credit company. Then there was basically your microfinance company, non-operating financial holding company. There were 7-8 classification activity wise. So basically 3 classification, activity wise 7-8 classification. Now the classification of NBFCs have changed. If I open up your chapter of NBFC, and if you go to types of NBFC, this thing is entirely changed. This is amended. This thing is amendment. And remember, always amendments are important from exam point of view. So please ensure this types of NBFC given in your material, page number 11.3, this is changed now. Okay, so sir, how it is changed? Coming back. So now your NBFCs, there are 4 things. In your NBFC, there are 4 things. One is called as a base layer. Second is called as a middle layer. Third is called as a upper layer. And fourth is called as a top layer. So your NBFCs are divided into 4 parts: base layer, middle layer, upper layer, top layer. So check. Pursuant to announcement of scale-based regulation, a regulatory framework for NBFC, the NBFC classification is now changed. There are 4 layers of NBFC: base layer, middle layer, upper layer, and top layer. Now sir, which one will come in base layer? Those who are not taking deposits from public. They will come under your base layer. So non-deposit taking NBFC with a asset size less than 100 crores, not 100,000 crores. The non-deposit taking and a asset size less than 1000 crores, that come in base layer. Now systematically important, not systematically important, they are gone. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है now. The base layer is non-deposit taking. Acha sir, deposit taking one, all your deposit taking one, even you have taken 1 rupee deposit from public, deposit taking one will go in your middle layer. And non-deposit with a asset size 1000 crores or more, that will also go in middle layer. Okay, so यहाँ पे we have a non-deposit taking below the asset size of 1000 crore. यहाँ पे we have all deposit taking one in your middle layer. Plus we have a non-deposit taking, asset size is 1000 crores or more. This are one. Now pay attention. So classification is one based on deposit taking, non-deposit taking, and also the type of activity what you are doing. It is also the type of activity what you are doing. If you are, यहाँ पे word क्या लिखा है? And. You are in following activity. If you are giving following activity, peer-to-peer lending, NBFC to NBFC, account aggregator, non-operative financial holding company, or you're not availing public funds, not having customer interface, that type of NBFCs will always be in level 1. नहीं है यहाँ पे base layer. It will be what? Base layer. अच्छा, तो if you are giving following activities, you are in base layer irrespective of asset size. Activities में irrespective of asset size. अच्छा, तो 1, all your non-deposit taking ones which has an asset size up less than 1000 crores come over here. And if you are giving following services, if you are giving following activities, peer-to-peer lending, account aggregator, non-operating financial holding company, or you're not availing public funds, not having customer interface, you are always in base layer. Okay, if you are taking public deposits, middle layer, or you are not taking public deposits but asset size is 1000 crores or more, middle layer. And third, if you are giving following activity, standalone primary dealer, वो foreign exchange वाला, dealer of foreign exchange, infrastructure debt fund, core investment companies, housing finance company, infra finance company, then in that case you will be in middle layer. And whenever activity wise classification is there, it is irrespective of asset size. Okay, who will fall under middle layer? All deposit takings, non-deposit taking but having an asset size 1000 crores or above. And if you are giving following activity, always middle layer irrespective of asset size. Third is your upper layer. Now in upper layer they are telling that top 10% NBFC, top 10% NBFC based on basically your asset classification wale kind or based on your market cap, they will fall under upper layer. So they're not clearly given, they just say those which are warranting enhanced regulatory requirement, those which require enhanced regulatory requirement, and top 10, not 10%, it's top 10 eligible NBFC, top 10 eligible NBFC based on their asset size will be covered over here in upper layer always. Achha, out of whatever NBFCs are there in India, the top 10 NBFCs based on their asset size, they will always be falling under upper layer, wherein they need an enhanced regulatory thing. And top layer is currently empty. Top layer is currently empty. Future may, whenever basically RBI thinks we need to put some NBFC in top layer, they will come over here, and top layer will have even more enhanced regulatory measures. So in short, your classification of NBFC is now changed. Now it is base layer, middle layer, upper layer, and top layer. Base layer will have as non-deposit taking, asset size less than 1000 crores, and some activity providers. Middle layer will have deposit taking, all deposit taking, 1 rupee deposit also middle layer. Okay, non-deposit taking, asset size 1000 crores or more, and then few activities wala thing. Third one is your upper layer. Upper layer mein top 10 NBFCs will be coming based on their asset size, and top layer is currently empty. Later on, RBI is going to fill it. Okay. Now, if you want to classify based on activity, if you just want to classify based on activity, that's already given. Your peer-to-peer, account aggregator, non-operating financial holding company, and those who doesn't have a public funds or doesn't have a customer interface, they will always be in base layer or base layer. Fir, who are coming in your middle layer? The one deposit taking one, core investment company, infra finance company, housing finance company, they will be in your middle layer. They'll be in your middle layer. Acha, the remaining NBFCs can be in The remaining NBFCs will be depending, it could lie in any of the layers depending on the parameter it fulfills. So sir, investment and credit company, microfinance company, NBFC factors, mortgage guarantee company, they didn't say. So they can fall in any of the layers depending on the scale where they are falling. Deposit taking hai, non-deposit taking hai, up to 1000 crore is assets or 1000 crores or more is asset. It depends. And one more thing they've given, government owned NBFC. If it's a government owned NBFC, it will fall in base layer or middle layer, not in upper layer. Government owned NBFCs will be placed in base layer or middle layer, not in upper layer. Are you clear? Classification of NBFCs have changed. I want replies fast. So peer-to-peer, account aggregator, non-operative financial holding company, those who doesn't have a custom interface, they come in base layer. Okay, then core investment company, deposit taking ones, IFC, HFC, they come in your middle layer. And for those who are nothing is mentioned, they may fall in base layer, middle layer, upper layer, anything based on the parameters what they are fulfilling. Next one, chapter 16. What's the amendment in chapter 16? We have the word forensic audit, forensic audit, forensic auditor. Forensic audit की जगह change it to forensic accounting, and forensic auditor की जगह make it as forensic accountant. So instead of forensic audit, make it forensic accounting. Instead of forensic auditor, make it forensic accountant. That's it. So it's just a name change, nomenclature change. Otherwise, there's no absolute change over here. कोई change है ही नहीं chapter में. तो forensic audit की जगह forensic accounting, forensic auditor की जगह make it forensic accountant. Clear? And now comes the major change in the chapter of peer review. Yeah. The peer review chapter has majorly changed, and classification of NBFC. These are the two major change this time. Audit committee changes were there in November 22 as well. Now coming to your peer review and quality review. See, earlier there was a word called statement of peer review. Now they call it as guidelines. Instead of the word statement, they changed it to the word guidelines. Check over here. If I go to our material, okay, if I go to material, you'll find out there was a word statement of peer review. So in your statement of peer review, the definitions were given. Instead of the statement, the word is now guidelines. Instead of statement, the word is now guidelines. So it is peer review guidelines 2022. Peer review guidelines 2022. Now question comes to student, that's our guidelines. Guidelines are not mandatory. Yeah, standards and statements are mandatory, but guidelines are not mandatory. They are recommendatory. Sir, if you don't follow guidelines, is it okay? If you don't follow guidelines, is it okay? Answer is no. If you are not following guidelines over here, you'll be guilty of professional misconduct. Yes, if you're not following guidelines over here, you'll be guilty of professional misconduct. That is not allowed. So this guidelines needs to be followed. They were clarified. If these guidelines are not followed, you'll be guilty of professional misconduct. Remember, if you contravene any of the provisions of the act, regulations, guidelines, that you will be guilty. ठीक है. Next we have, there was a word coming, technical, professional, ethical standards. Okay, let me just open up over here. NBFC, let me close it. Okay. So the words were coming, peer review is an examination and review of systems and procedure to determine whether they've been put in place by PU for ensuring quality of assurance services as envisaged by technical, professional, ethical standards, including other regulatory requirement. Technical, professional, ethical standard was the word coming at many places, including other regulatory requirement. With that, one more word is added. Instead of technical, professional, ethical requirement as applicable, including other regulatory requirement, you need to add what? technical, professional, ethical requirement as applicable, including ये amendment है. This is the amendment. Audit quality maturity model wherever applicable or other regulatory requirement. Okay, the word came audit quality maturity model. Acha, question will come, sir, what is audit quality maturity model? Now see, ICAI has set up Center for Audit Quality. Center for Audit Quality is actually in Jaipur, and they have come out with self-evaluation. They have come out with self-evaluation norms for PU. Okay. Score is to be assigned. Score will be assigned. Is to be assigned की जगह based on form filled by PU. The PU will fill the form. There are a lot of questions over there, and there's a self-evaluation. Like we have a CIBIL score, ना? हमारा CIBIL score होता है. Same way now, ICAI has set up a Center for Audit Quality in Jaipur. They have came out with some self-evaluation scheme, which is to be done by PU. The PU will fill in the details, and based on the details filled, your score will come up. PU will fill in the details, and based on that, your score will come up. Now, the reviewer, the peer reviewer, has also to check your score. The score which is basically given, is it proper or not? Whatever is filled by PU is proper or not. That is extra thing which is added. So this is audit quality maturity model. Audit quality maturity model. So we don't just have to see technical, professional, ethical standards are fulfilled, regulatory requirements are fulfilled. We also have to check that audit quality maturity model which is filled by PU. Audit quality maturity model filled by PU for self-evaluation score, whether that is proper or not. That is also to be checked. This is something new. You don't have any details about audit quality maturity model in your syllabus. They've just given over here this word. They've just given the word. They've not defined anywhere audit quality maturity model. ठीक है. Now going down. Instead of the word statement, I told you the word is now peer review guidelines. ठीक है. Now who is a reviewer? Who is a reviewer? A member duly approved, empaneled by the board on fulfilling the qualifications as prescribed as per the guidelines. वो statement की जगह word हो गया guidelines. That's it. Okay, now there's a new concept, branch peer reviewer. Branch peer reviewer. So this is a peer review of a branch of PU. Okay, like Deloitte. Deloitte is operating with multiple branches. Or there's a firm operating with multiple branches. वो पूरे firm का PU नहीं है, one of the branch. पूरे firm का PU नहीं है, only branch. That's basically a branch peer review. It means a review. The reviewer appointed to conduct a peer review, किसका? The reviewer appointed to conduct a peer review of branch of PU. I'm not conducting peer review of the entire CA firm. I'm only conducting a peer review of a branch of that CA firm. Okay. And the qualifications, whatever are required to become a branch peer reviewer is also same. So sir, is there any change in qualifications required? Answer is no. The qualifications required to become a branch peer reviewer is same. Next one, there's a new unit. This is also something important. Achha. I told you major changes are in chapter of peer review, and second is classification of NBFC. Now in peer review, if you recall, the PUs, the practice unit, were classified as level 1, level 2. If it was a level 1, the peer review is required once in 3 years. If it's level 2, the peer review is required once in 4 years. ऐसा कुछ याद है? But the problem with that system was, many of the PUs missed out. Many of the PUs were basically missed out. So now they've kind of changed the whole system. Rather than ICI telling you get a peer review done, now PUs will run and get that peer review done. I will only tell, sir, please mera peer review kara do. So why I'll tell my peer review should be done? So now they've changed the system. Unless you have a peer review certificate, you cannot do particular audits. If you want to do a particular kind of audit, peer review certificate is must. If I want to do an audit of a particular type, the peer review certificate is must. If I don't have a peer review certificate, can I say I cannot accept the audit? If I don't have a peer review certificate, I won't be able to accept the audit. So now they're focused on the PU itself coming to you and telling, sir, please get my peer review done. So pehle ICI was telling them, peer review karao. Now they themselves will come to ICI. The system is a bit changed now. Earlier it was like level 1 PU, level 2 PU, that all is scrapped. वो सब चला गया. Okay, so now there's a definition of word new unit. New unit is what? New unit is what? Which has been established for less than 12 months. So new unit is what? Which has been established less than 12 months from the date of application of peer review. Now, sir, why will I apply for getting a peer review? Why will I apply? I told you now the system is changed. Unless you have a peer review certificate, you cannot do a certain kind of audit. Unless you have a peer review certificate, you cannot do a certain kind of audit. So, can I say you'll run to get a peer review certificate? So, whenever you're applying for peer review certificate, and if you are not yet 12 months old, when you're applying for peer review certificate and you're not yet 12 months old, you are told as a new unit. If it is a new unit, the peer review will be less detailed. So peer review will be less detailed and the fees charged to you will also be less. Okay, so again a question. What do you mean by new unit? It's a firm whose date of establishment is less than 12 months. Whose date of establishment is less than 12 months immediately preceding the date of application of peer review. Sir, I'm a new unit. Why will I apply for getting a peer review? क्यों apply करूंगा? I told you now they have modified the system. Unless you have a peer review certificate, you cannot accept certain kinds of audit. तो मुझे अगर वो audit करना है, peer review certificate चाहिए. That's why I will apply suo moto, get my peer review done. And when I'm applying, if I'm not yet 12 months old, I will be a new unit. For me, the peer review will be less detailed. And one more thing is the fees which we will charge for peer review will also be less. Acha, one more thing is given and. There's one more thing covered over here and. Or I write or, chalo. Or. Peer review is in existence for exceeding 12 months. You are in existence for more than 12 months, but you have not done any assurance services. If you are for more than 12 months, but you have not yet done any assurance services, then also you are covered in new unit. So when I'm in new unit, when I apply, I'm less than 12 months old. I might have done statutory audit, I might not have done. Okay. And if I'm more than 12 months old, but I've not done any assurance services, then I'm falling under your new unit. This is important exam angle. The new unit is important. Okay, next word was peer review. Board means the board constituted by council in terms of the guidelines. Statement ki jagah word guideline came, everything else is same. Statement ki jagah word guideline came, everything else is same. Next, scope of peer review. Okay, scope of peer review, one thing added. Can I say peer reviewer? Peer reviewer has to check the self-evaluation which you have done under audit quality maturity model. I told you every PU will have to get the rating. So audit quality maturity model is there. You fill that audit quality maturity model, usme questions hai, you fill it. Based on that, a rating comes to you. It was a self-evaluation thing. The peer reviewer will come and check whether that self-evaluation is done by you properly or not. Okay, the scope mein what is added is self-evaluation under audit quality maturity model. I explained you what is audit quality maturity model, AQMM. So ICAI has set up a center for audit quality. They have come out with a self-evaluation norms for PU. The PUs will be assigned score based on whatever they are filling in that model. Model mein bahut sare questions hai. You fill the answers, you will get a score. If your score is good, sir, I'm very happy. Acha, now question. If I have a very good score in AQMM, can I publish it in my website? Can I share it with my clients? Answer is no. You will be guilty of professional misconduct. Yeah, you'll be guilty of professional misconduct if at all that AQMM ka good score you have, you're trying to circulate, that is trying to solicit clients. It will be guilty of professional misconduct. ठीक है. The only thing is you have a self-evaluation scheme of PU wherein PUs will be filling in forms and based on that they will get a score. Whatever score PU has got, the reviewer will come and check whether the form filled by you for that score is proper or not. Okay, next. The definition of word technical professional ethical standard. Okay, the definition of the word technical professional ethical standard. If I just go over here, okay, ये scope में, in your scope यहाँ पे there's not new addition happened. यहाँ पे they've added newly वो AQMM self evaluation, audit quality maturity model का self evaluation we need to check. So self evaluation of AQMM. Okay. Now in this definition of technical professional ethical standard. In this definition of technical professional ethical standard, यहाँ पे last 7th point is added. Any other. Last में 7th point is added. Any other. Check out 7th point. Any other. Any other technical professional ethical and other standards issued by the governing authority. Any authority governing the profession of chartered accountancy. Just any other word is added over there. Next, what is the definition of assurance engagement? Okay, so definition of assurance engagement. Scope में एक चीज ऐड हुआ है, self evaluation of AQMM. Technical professional ethical standard definition last में any other added. Okay, assurance engagement. Assurance engagement does not include. Assurance engagement does not include. उसमें last point H के बाद यहाँ पे addition. H के बाद there is a addition again, any other which in the opinion of counsel is not a assurance service. Any other which in the opinion of counsel is not. तो check यहाँ पे any other services rendered which in the opinion of counsel is not prescribed by the counsel to be a assurance engagement. Here also any other is added. Here also any other word is added. Fine. This is done. Now applicability. This is very important. Applicability important, procedure important. These two things have changed majorly. Okay, so just come over here. ये applicability दिख रहा है? Already amended था. Earlier there was level 1, 2, 3. Now it was level 1 and 2. Now further change. This all is scrapped out. This all is scrapped out. The applicability. It was based on category, level 1, level 2. Now this all is scrapped out. You don't have any of these things. The applicability point fully changed. So sir, what do we have in applicability? Check over here. Check over here. So earlier, check करो word, earlier it was level 1, level 2 category, ये सब चला गया. Now this is all gone. So as per clause 5 of peer review guidelines 2022, the criteria for peer review are defined as following. 1. Mandatory. It is for such PU as may be decided by council. As may be decided by council. For some PU it is mandatory. For some it is voluntary. PU may suo motu apply. And now focus is all on this. Focus on, we don't want ICI coming and telling you to get a peer review done. You come and tell me, do my peer review. We don't want ICI coming and telling you to get a peer review done. You come and tell me, sir, please get my peer review done. Because if you don't have a peer review certificate, you will not be allowed to take certain audits. So now voluntarily, the focus is over here. This pe zyada focus hai. And third is a special case when someone, regulator, SEBI, RBI, or anyone who basically tells the peer review board, please get a peer review done of this PU. So this is on the information received from ICI, director discipline or regulator. So one, mandatory for those PUs as may be decided by the council. Second is voluntary. PU suo motu will come and tell, sir, please get my peer review done. And third is a special case when information is received from the secretary of ICI or disciplinary directorate or other regulators. Okay. Mandatory may who will be falling, it will be covered up later. The category, for mandatory category, the council has decided to mandate the peer review firm for coverage of more firms, but kaun se aayenge, it will be covered later. Okay, now this is very important. It is clarified that holding a peer review certificate by PU should be prerequisite for undertaking audit of all the entities falling in phase 1, 2, 3, 4. If I want to do audit of entities falling in phase 1, 2, 3, 4, I should be having a peer review certificate at the time of accepting the audit. Yes, at the time of accepting. So I cannot accept only if I don't have a peer review certificate. Imagine if you don't have a peer review certificate, you want to do such audit, you have to first rush to peer review board. You have to first rush to peer review board, tell them, sir, please get my peer review done. I told you the focus is shifted. Now ICI will not tell you, you will go to ICI telling, sir, please get my peer review done. If I want to do following types of audit, peer review certificate is must. Okay, now sir, which type of audit? Okay, first listed entities. Listed, debt, equity, anything. Debt or equity is listed in India or abroad, 1st April 22 ke baad. If you want to do such audit, you need to have a peer review certificate. Now sir, as per SEBI for all listed entities, peer review certificate was already required. We did it in audit committee, corporate governance. So as such, this was already there. Okay, now they put it in guidelines. Okay, unlisted public company. Oh, that was listed, now unlisted. If you want to do unlisted public company, paid up capital not less than 500 crore. Not less than means not less than, greater than equal to 500 crores. Turnover greater than equal to 1000 crores and borrowing greater than equal to 500 crores. So paid up capital greater than equal to 500 crores, turnover greater than equal to 1000 crores, and your loans, deposits, debentures greater than equal to 500 crores preceding year ka. If I want to do such type of audit, I need a peer review certificate mandatorily. 1st April 23 say this is applicable. Okay, so for listed ones, 1st April 22. For this one, 1st April 23. Third. अच्छा, एक और चीज है. If you are having 5 partners or more, यहाँ पे. If you are having 5 partners or more, again you need to have a peer review certificate. Otherwise, you cannot take any audits. Any audits. 5 partner or more, you need to have a peer review certificate. If sir, I don't have a certificate, I cannot take any statutory audit. Accept नहीं कर पाऊंगा. So I told you now PUs will rush. The PUs will rush and tell the peer review board, sir, please get my peer review done. Next, entities which have raised fund. Okay, those who have raised fund from the bank over 50 crores, greater than 50 crores during the period, or if there's a trust also. if there's a trust which are covered under public interest entity. Okay, so any body corporate including trust which are a public interest entity. So either you have raised money from public bank, financial institution, greater than 50 crores during the period under review. Achha, period under review is 3 years actually. During the period under review, 3 साल में, last 3 years. Or if you are a public interest entity, sir किसको बोलते हैं public interest entity? Mutual funds, banks, insurance company, mutual funds, banks, insurance company, where public money is there. वो public का पैसा है. बैंक में किसका पैसा है? Public का. Mutual fund, whose money is that? Public's money. These are public interest entities. Okay, if at all you are doing an audit of that public interest entities, peer review certificate mandatory. Okay, imagine I want to do audit of a mutual fund. Mutual fund is a trust. I want to do audit of a mutual fund. Mutual fund is what? A trust. So you have to have a peer review certificate, otherwise you can't do it. Or you're having 4 partners or more, again a peer review certificate mandatory for you 1st April 24 onwards. 1st April 24 onwards. And 4th one, they are telling if you are doing branch audit of PSU bank. Achha, public sector bank. Oh, you know most of the chartered accountant does bank audit. Bank audit mein branches. Achha, if you want to do that branches ka bank audit, but it's a public sector bank, SBI, Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda, they're all kind of public sector banks. So then in that case, again, you need a peer review certificate. You cannot do it. Or you have 3 partners or more, then again a peer review certificate required. I told you till now the focus was ICI was telling everyone, please get a peer review done. Now the PU will run, the practice unit will run to ICI and tell, sir, please get my peer review done faster. Because you cannot accept the audits until you are having that peer review certificate. If a firm has 3 partners or more, pakka peer review certificate will be required. If peer review certificate is not there, you cannot take up a single audit. At the time of acceptance, whenever you're accepting an audit, a peer review certificate will be must as per this criteria. I hope this is clear. Please reply, man. So level 1, level 2, that all is gone. Now the classification is not like that. It's basically, first of all, mandatory for few, data is not given in that. Voluntary, you may suo moto apply. And special case ke karan there can be there. Okay. After this, now if you are doing following types of audit, you mandatorily need a peer review certificate. If you're doing audit of listed entity, you need a peer review certificate. 1st April 22 se applicable. Second, mein unlisted having that big limits or 5 partners. Or word hai, 5 partners you have, you need a peer review certificate 1st April 23 onwards. Okay. 4 partners you need from 1/4/24. 3 partners you need 1/4/25 onwards. Everybody will now run to get a peer review done. Okay. Now, going down. Now we just remember peer review board had 12 members. There was a line written peer review board में कितने people आते थे? 12. Let me just check out. यहाँ पे आपको मैं दिखाता हूँ peer review board. ये रहा. The peer review board and maximum of 12 members. It was like maximum 12. Now they've written minimum 6, maximum 12. What they've written now? Minimum 6, maximum 12. The minimum of 6, maximum of 12 members. Clear? This is the amendment. Minimum 6, maximum 12. ठीक है. फिर eligibility of peer reviewer. Eligibility of peer reviewer में लिखा था at least 7 years of experience. अब 7 years of assurance experience. Instead of 7 years of experience, 7 years of assurance practice experience. 7 years of assurance practice experience. ठीक है. Okay, next, in your declaration of confidentiality, ये रहा, in your declaration of confidentiality, there's one thing added. See, यहाँ पे declaration of confidentiality shall be signed by person responsible for conducting a peer review. The reviewer will sign, assistants will sign, and this is to be filed with board. Now they've added what? It shall be signed by all members of the board and the board ka secretariat. Remember, board has 12 members. They also will sign declaration of confidentiality. Board had 12 members. They also will sign declaration of confidentiality. And again, next, the procedure for peer review is changed. Procedure. The procedure for peer review is changed. If I just go down, niche. Yes, the peer review process. This is fully amended. The peer review process is fully amended. Whatever is given, we had that 4 stages. उसमें बहुत सारी चीजें are amended. Many things are amended over here. The fully amended this peer review process. Let's see. Let us see peer review process. Now I told you, majority time the PU will request, sir, please get my peer review done. Majority time, who will request? The PU will request, please get my peer review done. Otherwise, I'm not able to accept the audits only. Okay, the check over here. First, PU who desires to get a peer review. Acha, this is basically for voluntary. ये voluntary के लिए आ जाएगा. If you want to get a peer review done, you make an application. You make an application. In application come questionnaire in form 1. तो आप application करो form 1 में. If you want to get a peer review done, suo moto. अच्छा, अगर it is initiated by board, mandatory. Okay, mandatory or special case. Someone complain and board feels. Mandatory or special case है. Then the application cum questionnaire in form 1 shall be submitted by PU on the request of peer review board secretary. One is you yourself suo moto apply, you fill form 1 and suo moto apply. Second, they request you and you are filling that form 1. ठीक है. Whatever applications are received by the board, they will be duly numbered. Names of 3 reviewers shall be recommended to you within 3 days. Achha, they will recommend the names of 3 reviewers within 3 days, 3 working days. You have to select one within 1 working day. आपको 3 नाम मैंने recommend किए, you select one of them within 1 working day only. Now the process has become faster. Remember earlier, the peer review was to be completed within 60 days था. पहले 90 था, वो 60 हुआ, अब 20 हो गया है. Now peer review has to be completed within 20 days. ठीक है. So they give you names of 3 reviewers within 3 days. Select one of them within 1 day only, 1 working day. And board will appoint the reviewer selected by the PU. Now you will intimate to the reviewer to submit a declaration of confidentiality in form 2. The reviewer will be asked to submit a declaration of confidentiality form 2 में to the PU within 2 working days. Okay, within 2 working days. And the PU shall also provide a copy of that form 1 which you had submitted to board to the reviewer. The reviewer will give you a declaration of confidentiality. You give him a copy of that form 1 which you had filed. ठीक है. So this is first part. This was procedure for initiating. If you want to get a peer review done, fill a form 1. Okay, if board wants to get your peer review done, board will send form 1, request you to fill form 1. Then they will give you names of 3 reviewers within 3 days. You have to select one of them in 1 day only. Within 1 day, board will appoint the reviewer and reviewer will be asked to submit a declaration of confidentiality within 2 days. Okay, they will submit declaration of confidentiality to the PU. PU को दे देंगे वो. To the PU, and now PU has to submit that form 1 to the reviewer within 2 working days. ठीक है. Now, before commencement, Before commencement, the peer reviewer will ensure that the declaration of confidentiality is furnished to the PU. An acknowledgement of the receipt is obtained. Okay, the reviewer should have submitted declaration of confidentiality and take a in writing from PU that yes, they have got the declaration of confidentiality. Now, can I say that form 1 mein you got the details about the assurance client, all that things. So peer reviewer has got the details about PU from that form 1. So can I say now I need to select the files whichever I want to review. Okay, so now what will happen is the proposed sample selected to be kept ready. The reviewer shall initiate the peer review by intimating PU of proposed visit when you are going to come and which all files you are going to check. The proposed files selected are to be intimated by the reviewer in form 5. Acha, plus form 1 say I got details about PU. Based on form 1 I got the details about PU. If I need something more, additional clarification, the reviewer may seek additional clarification in form 6 from PU. And you have to provide within 1 working day. So if the reviewer wants something else, he will request you in form 6. You have to give it in 1 day only. Okay. Okay, now whatever form 5 may they told you that which files they want to refer. Form 5 may they told you which files they will refer. They will give you at least 2 working days time to keep it ready. The reviewer shall within 2 working days select the assurance engagement which he wants to review, form file may, and he will give you at least 2 working days to keep the records ready. Acha, so once you gave that additional information, within 2 days he will tell you which file you want to review, and you need to keep the things ready within 2 days. And you need to ensure that the entire peer review process is completed within 20 days from the date of receipt of application from PU. When PU applied, usse 20 days mein review is completed, or when the board told PU that we want a peer review done, tab se 20 days mein it got completed. So suo moto ya mandatory, whenever it started, jab start hua 20 days mein it has to get completed. 20 days mein it should get completed. Okay, if it's a new unit, yaad hai what was new unit? You're not yet 12 months old. So when you're applying for peer review, you're not yet 12 months old, that was new unit. Usme entire process is to be completed within 7 days. Are you clear? Now third yahan pe execution. Ye jo third execution hai na, usme if you remember the on-site visit was maximum 7 days. The on-site visit was maximum 7 days. 7 days ki jagah now it is made 6 days. Everything else same. So execution mein, in your execution, the word 7 working days is changed to 6 working days. The on-site visit can be maximum for 6 working days, not 7 working days. Okay. After that, the procedure for new unit. Okay, new unit mein the on-site visit is 1 day only. New unit ka peer review hai, it's only 1 day because you are not too old. Aap abhi 12 mahine hua hai. I don't have to go in much detail. So it's just 1 day allowed. Now reporting. Reporting is in form 9. Okay, if you find that there are some issues, the systems and procedures are deficient and you want clarification from PU, तो आप उनसे एक preliminary report दो. You give a preliminary report and within 2 days they have to submit the answers. If you are satisfied, you will give an unqualified peer review report. If you are not satisfied, you will give a qualified peer review report. Peer review report is in form number 9. And whenever you are submitting a report, together with that, you have to submit the annexures, the copy of questionnaire which you got from PU, the sample selected, the preliminary report, everything you have to send it to the peer review board when you give a final report. Acha, if there is a qualified report, agar aapka unqualified report hai, the peer reviewer is happy, he has given unqualified report, then the peer review board will issue a certificate to the PU. But if it's a qualified report, they will not give you a certificate. They will come out with a follow-on review. Yaad hai? फॉलो ऑन रिव्यू कब होगा? विद इन 1 year, बट इट कैन बी रिड्यूस्ड टू 6 months, उससे पहले नहीं. Okay, the peer review board secretary will ensure that the report is accompanied by all the document. Report shall be placed before the board. If it's a qualified report, board may decide to go on for a follow-on review. Follow-on review कब होगा? Period of 1 year. It can be reduced but not less than 6 months. Issuance of peer review certificate. Issuance of peer review certificate. Now, I have a question for you. Peer review. Peer review is done. The reviewer comes and checks the work of PU. Who will bear the fees of reviewer? Reviewer comes and checks the work of PU. Who will bear the fees of reviewer? The PU has to bear it. Fees is decided by board. Board decide karega, but it has to be paid by PU. So I will give you the certificate only when I get a clarification from the reviewer that he has got his fees. So check, the peer review secretary shall place, and he should issue the peer review certificate only after the peer reviewer confirms that he has received the fees from PU. If PU doesn't pay the fees of peer reviewer, again your certificate will be on hold. And those chartered accountant who are holding a valid peer review certificate, the details will be put up on ICAI website. Those chartered accountant holding a peer review certificate and which date tak it is valid, it's put up on ICAI website. And the validity of the peer review certificate will be mostly for 3 years or such period as may be decided by board. For new unit, it will be as decided by board. It can be more than 3 years also. Now, if 3 years are getting over, you want to get an extension. Rather than getting a new peer review, you may apply for extension also. Extend the validity. If you have some good reasons, you may apply for extension. Extension ke application is form number 8. Extension application is form number 8. Are you clear? In your chapter of peer review, what are the major changes which have happened? Let me just show you. One, applicability में बहुत change है. Applicability of PU, there are major changes. Second, जो process of peer review है, there are major changes. So these are the 2 points where there are major changes. The revised material of this chapter, I'll put up on Telegram channel by tomorrow. The revised material of this chapter. If someone wants the entire chapter ka revised material, peer review part, quality review is not revised. I'll put up on our Telegram channel tomorrow. As of now, you can just refer to the RTP which is there. Next is professional ethics. Now, very interesting thing. In your professional ethics, they have given few amendments, but the main provision itself is not there in your material. The study material doesn't have that main provision, but usme jo amendment hua, that they have given. It's kind of very weird. Okay, coming to first of all, I'll just try to go this relative size. This main provision is not there in study material. Main provision not there in SM. See, we don't have, see, one is ISBA, IESBA, that is your ethical standard board related thing. Second, your Chartered Accountants Act, but we don't have all the provisions of ISBA which is applicable, the new code of ethics. The new code of ethics, all provisions are not given in no material. In study material, they've given only basic about it. Now, uske detailed provision are not there in material, but there's some change happened. They put the change over here. So frankly, to ask a question out of this is very, very, very rare. But it's given over here, we'll do it. Okay. Same way, your tax services to audit client, the main provision not there in study material. We don't have that full new code of ethics given in our study material. Part about new code of ethics is given. So there are certain provisions of new code of ethics not given in study material. In that there are amendments they put over here. Yeah, you are not given the main provision. Why are you just giving me amendments over there? That's actually of no use. But they're given, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll understand bit. And third is basically no clear. No clear is there. No clear is there. No clear mein there's an amendment. See, no clear was applicable to all employees of listed entity. All CAs working in listed entities. It was all CAs in listed entities. If you're working in a listed entity, you find some non-compliance of laws and regulation, you had a duty to speak up. That's no clear. It was all CAs. Now only those CAs which are at a senior post. So now senior professional accountant. So only those CAs which are in senior post. And what is a senior post? They were described over here. Directors, officers, kind of KMP. So only KMP, CAs who are KMP. Okay, so earlier no clear provision was applicable to all employees of listed company, means all chartered accountants working in listed companies. Now only chartered accountants working in listed company as KMP. Chartered accountants working in listed company as KMP. That's one change. Second, if you are doing audit of all listed entities, any listed entity, PU. So practice mein ho, doing audit of listed entities, you are covered in no clear. Doing audit of listed entities, you are covered in no clear. Now, listed entity having a net worth 250 crores or more. So earlier, if I'm doing audit of a listed entity, I'm covered in no clear. But now, if I'm doing audit of listed entity, which has a net worth less than 250 crore, no clear, not applicable. So it should be a listed entity audit and a net worth 250 crores or more. Listed entity and a net worth 250 crore or more, then only covered in no clear. Clear? Okay, now coming to that about two changes. The relative size. Fees ka relative size, and there's one more, tax services. As such, not relevant from exam purpose. The main provision itself is not there in your study material. Now, what they are telling is, see, if out of your total revenue, the major revenue is coming only from one client, तो उसके related you have to do disclosures. उसके related you have to do disclosures. किसको? ICI को. ठीक है? तो now check. तो earlier you had to disclose, and disclosure earlier was to KM, मतलब TCWG. Earlier disclosure था TCWG को, now to ICI. What was the disclosure required? When your gross annual fees from a client represents 15% of your total fees. पहले 15% of your total fees exceed कर रहा था. I had to give a disclosure, and that was actually to TCWG. Now it will be to ICI. Now they've changed. For public interest entity, remember what is a public interest entity? Mutual fund, banks, insurance company, they are all public interest entity. Even your listed companies are also public interest entity. In that, if your fees coming from one client is 40% or more of your total fees, and this is non-public, non-public tha ye, just a minute, and this is public entities. Public interest entities में 20% of total fees. अच्छा, तो पहले 15 था, now it's made non-public में 40%, public interest entities में 20%. Out of your total fees from your one client. If it's a public interest entity, 20% fees coming from that one client, total fees का. And non-public है तो 40%, then you have to disclose about it to ICAI. अच्छा, exemption है, total fees does not exceed 5 lakh. Now the exemption if total fees does not exceed 20 lakh. 20 lakh exceed नहीं हो रहा है तो no need to disclose. अच्छा, this is not applicable for government वाला audit. Now this is not applicable to government or any other regulator has appointed you. If any regulator has appointed you, like say IRDA appointed you, then it's not applicable. Earlier disclosure to TCWG, now disclosure to ICAI. Earlier disclosure to TCWG, now disclosure to ICAI. So out of your total fees, major chunk coming from one client, disclosure was required. Usme there has been amendment. Clear? Keep speaking. You've still not started with questions only. Okay, tax services to client. Whenever you're providing tax services to client, now the term court is now modified. Court does not include tribunal. They just made one change. The court word does not include tribunal. That's the amendment over here. But see, the main provisions are not there in study material. They can't ask amendment related to it. Then this were all the amendments which were there. Now going to the questions which are given. Whatever are good questions, I'll go in detail. Whatever are direct, easy question, we'll just read, but I'm not going to the solution. We'll just tell which topic it relates. So good questions which I feel have been drafted very well, I'll go in detail. Okay, direct questions, I'll directly ignore it. Okay, let's start coming to multiple choice questions. We're discussing the entire RTP. Amendments are done. Major amendments in peer review chapter, and second is NBFC ka classification. There are amendments in audit committee chapter, but not now. They came up last time only. They were there in your November RTP, November 22 RTP discussion as well. Now check this case study, what they've given. Good Deposits Limited, NBFC registered with RBI, and it's a listed one. Okay, NBFC bhi hai, listed hai, theek hai. You appointed ABC & Co as statutory auditor for the financial year ending 31st March 23. Okay, you listed one के लिए अभी आया. For listed one, can I say peer review certificate? Peer review certificate mandatory from 1/4/22 onwards. You cannot accept the audit only if you don't have a peer review certificate. Just now we had seen. Just now abhi dekha. Okay, they were holding the peer review certificate is valid till January 2. They did not apply. So can I say today they are not having a peer review certificate? They can't accept the audit. Okay, they can't accept audit. Now, what is the net own fund required for NBFC minimum? What is the minimum net own fund required for NBFC, sir? 2 CR, 200 lakhs. So they have given month wise. Okay, March May it is more than 200 lakh. But in between it was less than 200 lakhs. Okay, auditor also has to give in his report. Remember we have one extra report to board of directors. वो board of directors को हम जो extra report दे रहे हैं उसके अंदर we have to write वो about this 200 lakh ka net worth is there or not. Now, do we report for that as at 31st March? Do we report for that month wise? Do we report for that throughout the year? Do we report for that month wise? Do we report for that as at 31st March? Or do we report for that throughout the year? I'll come to that. Okay, there are 9 directors, 5 are non-executive. You need 50% non-executive, ho gaya. Okay, you need 1 woman director, listed entity, ho gaya. 2 are independent. Out of 9, 2 are independent, less than 1/3. Ye galat hai. Minimum 1/3 to independent everywhere required. And chairman is non-executive and a promoter. Chairman is non-executive but a promoter, then you need half of directors as independent. So half directors are required as independent. ठीक है? Now J recommended to board and audit committee to have internal auditor. Can I say listed entity internal auditor is mandatory? They don't have it. They don't have it. They say, sir, we will bring it in future. They don't have it. We have to report kahan pe? So internal audit mandatory. They are not having internal auditor. Karo mein there's a point on internal audit. Karo mein there's a point on internal audit. Report there. You can't qualify your report. You can't qualify your main audit report because financial statements not showing a true and fair view. ऐसा नहीं है. Internal audit applicable. They don't have it. Report in Karo. ठीक है. Now there are questions given to us. Which are the questions? First, net own fund has gone below the limit. and auditor has to give a reporting. So every NBFC shall submit a certificate from auditor that it is eligible to hold a certificate of registration. Okay, such a certificate is with reference to position as at the end. Such a certificate is with reference to position at each month. Such a certificate is for the entire financial year. क्या करना है? Such a certificate should be throughout the financial year. क्या है? Okay, so let me just open up the chapter of NBFC. And ये last वाला report to board. Okay. If you check over here, we are required to give a report whether they have obtained certificate of registration and whether that company is entitled to hold the certificate of registration as at 31st March. So is it for the year, throughout the year? No. As at 31st March. Dheeraj, are you clear? The answer is as at the end. Answer is as at the end of financial year. Answer is A. So we are required to give a certificate as at the end of financial year. Okay, next one. Composition of board of directors. The problem is you need 50% independent director because your chairman is non-executive but related to promoter. So when a regular non-executive chairman is a promoter, at least half of the director should be independent director. This is correct. This is correct. You can read the remainings, you will be able to understand. This is correct. Others may they have not given promoter point only. Others they have not given promoter point only. I am ignoring it. Next. Okay, now at the time of accepting the audit, they don't have a peer review certificate. They don't have a peer review certificate. When you ask, they say, sir, we are falling in level 2. We need once in 4 years. They say we are falling in level 2 once in 4 years. Now question, whether that level 1, level 2 is there or gone? Whether that level 1, level 2 is there or gone? Sir, it's gone. Now we don't have that level 1, level 2. If you are doing an audit of listed entity, for you peer review certificate is mandatory from 1/4/22. You can't accept the audit. So as per peer review mandate, ये level 2 है ही नहीं, तो ये level 2 निकाल दो, level 2 निकाल दो. As per peer review mandate, PU, which proposes to undertake statutory audit of listed ones, there's a prerequisite starting from 1/4/22 to have that peer review certificate. Are you clear? Based on amendment, this MCQ is there, very important. Next, they don't have internal audit. They don't have internal audit. I want to put it in emphasis of matter. Okay. They don't have an internal audit. I want to put it in EOM para. Is it fine? No. Emphasis of matter is for something which is already there in financials. Which is already there in financial. Adequately presented, disclosed, it's there. And it's fundamental for the user to understand financial statement. So, ye galat. No. This cannot be in EOM. So, under EOM is correct. No, wrong. Under EOM is wrong. Okay. Emphasis of matter refers to matter other than those. No. Other than those nahi hai. Ye bhi galat. Emphasis of matter refers to matter appropriately presented and disclosed in financial. Here the reporting is incorrect. This is correct. We can't put it in EOM. See, they don't have an internal audit. That is not to be put in EOM. EOM is for something what? Which is appropriately there in financial. I'm drawing attention. And it is for the users to understand financial statements. Next one, absence of internal audit function. Where can I put in my audit report? You can put it in your CARO. वो CARO में clause 14 है. Yes. It's CARO में clause number 14. I can put it in CARO. Are you clear? Others, please reply. See, 2 hours mein you are able to do this RTP. If you, frankly, I'm telling you, if you try to do on your own, it will take kind of 6 to 7 hours for you. 45 pages are given and you don't know the concepts, etc. So 2 hours here, 2 hours at your home, you're able to do in 4 hours. Otherwise, it will take 6 to 8 hours. Now, some independent MCQs. D is a practicing chartered accountant. D's daughter newly qualified. And C set up a sole proprietary. Okay, D's daughter is newly qualified. C set up a sole proprietary, and the visiting card. SN company, chartered accountant, Messrs. S. FCA, no, you are newly qualified. You are newly qualified, you can't be FCA, na? This is wrong. Okay, so can I say, not being a fellow acts as a fellow. Not being a fellow acts as a fellow. This was clause 1, part 3, first schedule. This was clause 1, part 3, first schedule, guilty of professional misconduct. Not being a fellow acts as a fellow. Next. Okay, now you're doing audit. You noticed what? You're doing audit. What did you notice? You noticed there are some payment to government employees not supported by document. There are some notices from departments. There are some payment of fines. You have some legal counsel got a lot of payment. This is what? This indication of what? This shows basically a non-compliance of laws and regulation. So this is indicative of doubt of non-compliance of laws and regulation, SA 250. Next one, you're doing an audit of IT department, and there are questions such as, the checklist contains a question such as whether backups are maintained, username, password are assigned to individual user, periodically passwords are changed. Okay, this is what? This is not financial audit. This is not proprietary audit. This is not comprehensive. Comprehensive covers everything. This is only related to IT. This is compliance audit. The rules and regulation related to IT are complied or not. Okay. Next, you are a joint auditor of Trilok Insurance. You are verifying expense of employee. You're verifying expense of employee, and Mukesh made a list which he wanted to discuss with his seniors. There's a payment to salary. This payment of salary, they put it in employee remuneration and welfare benefit account. Salary, where they put? Employee remuneration and welfare benefit. Okay. Okay, we reimburse the health insurance premium. Okay, employee ka health insurance premium we reimburse. We have put it in employee remuneration and welfare benefit. Okay, training, non-training expense. See, non-training cannot go here. वो others में जाना चाहिए. Training, ठीक है, still you can put it in employee remuneration and welfare benefit. The training, non-training, you have put over here. Medical treatment of employees also fine. Incentive to employees, you put it in commission. Incentive to employees, you put it in commission. नहीं, that you put it in employee remuneration. Employee को दिया ना incentive, employee, तो employee remuneration and welfare उसमें डाल दो. The point is, non-training is wrong, incentive is wrong. Non-training should go in others. Incentive should go in employee remuneration. Non-training should go in others, and incentive should go in employee remuneration. Check यहाँ पे training, non-training दोनों नहीं. This is no, yeah. Non-training should have gone shown separately. Incentive to employee should come under employee remuneration and welfare benefits. Okay, NPA hai 35, you are selling for 37. Okay, you're selling NPA at 2 lakh profit. Remember, profit on sale of NPA is not recognized. We retain the provision. The answer over here is credit the excess 2 lakh to provision for loss on sale of NPA. We retain 2 lakh ka provision. We retain 2 lakh provision. Are you clear with MCQs? Are you clear with MCQs? Okay, next is your descriptive questions. Next is descriptive. Ones which I feel are good one, I'll take it in detail. Others I'll just brush up, that's okay. We just tell which topic it is. Okay, your team has completed the audit and you're preparing a report for the management. And they've prepared a draft annual report. Okay, whether auditor is required to read the annual report? Yes, sir, SA 720. You have to read the annual report. Okay, now in your annual report, there's an indication of downward trend in market price of raw materials. In your annual report, there is a downward trend in market price of raw material. but the actual margin reported have gone in a reverse direction. So can I say there's something inconsistency? What they've written in annual report and what we see in financials, there's an inconsistency. Achha, and this is basically, when I was auditing, I saw that the margins are decreasing. They are writing the raw material price are reducing, the margin should increase. So यहाँ पे there's something wrong in that other information. यहाँ पे there's something wrong in that other information. You asked with your partner. Partner said we are not concerned with that annual report, leave it. Partner said we are not concerned with annual report, leave it. Do you think it is correct? Answer is no. SA 720. SA 720. So if you feel other information is wrong, you have to request the management to correct it. If they correct it, well and good. If they don't correct it, go to TCWG. Still they are not correcting it. Yeah, report is not yet issued. Write it in your audit report under other matter paragraph. Actually, iska other matter nahi, there's a separate para only. Yeah, there's a separate para only for this now, so you can write it over there. Okay. Next one, question 5. Question number 5. CAP is an auditor. Sorry, question 12, not 5. Kahan se aaya 5? The CAP is an auditor of master data for the year 21-22. They request you to do verification of only trade receivable. Okay, so they are telling you, sir, please check only trade receivable. You have to verify the arithmetical accuracy, obtain confirmation, ensure reconciliations, etc. He is in a dilemma whether you can give a assurance report for this. You are checking only trade receivable. उसमें क्या करना है? Arithmetical accuracy. Send confirmation, receive the reply. If balance is not tallied, see reconciliation. Okay, can I say this is kind of agreed upon procedure? This is kind of agreed upon procedure. And if you just recall, under agreed upon procedure, we are reporting on the fact which we found. So there's no assurance. Under agreed upon procedure as well as your compilation, there is no assurance. So can we provide assurance? Answer is no. Answer is no. Okay, this is also fine. Next one. Important question, I'll go in detail. Okay, you appointed a new firm of chartered accountant. They want to enter into engagement letter. There's a new firm of CA. They want to enter into engagement letter. Management is telling, sir, things are already given in law. Why do you want to have an engagement letter? Things are already given in law. Why do you have an engagement letter? Auditor did not agree to this and they've shared the format of engagement letter. Auditor ने आपको engagement letter भेजा. ठीक है. Now, the management would like to understand that as per SA 210, if the agreed terms of engagement are to be recorded in engagement letter, what should be the terms of engagement letter? The question is content of engagement letter. Yeah, the 5 points: objective, scope, your responsibility, my responsibility, expected form in which the report is to be given. So, content of engagement letter. What shall be included in your audit engagement letter? That's your answer. If you just check your first one, SA 720, contention of partner is not correct. Second one, it's a kind of agreed upon procedure. Third one, the content, objective, scope, responsibilities, etc. Next. Till now, all questions are fine. I told you if any good questions are there, I'll tell you, I'll mark it as important. Okay, Subrat Limited has Ind AS applicable. As Ind AS are applicable, they have some derivative contract which are to be fair valued. ठीक है? The auditor involved an auditor's expert. Okay, so you hired an auditor's expert to see that the fair valuation is done by management properly or not. And you are new to each other. Okay, you are working for the first time. If you are working first time and you have not entered into formal agreement, wrong. SA 620. This is SA 620. Earlier one was SA 210. Okay. So can I say that whenever you're working with an expert for the first time, you need a more detailed agreement? The need for detailed agreement arises in the what cases? That is your answer. Check. A need for detailed agreement is required when? तो उसके अंदर when you're not worked. So here agreement is not done only, that is not correct. You will be guilty of professional misconduct. Next one. Next one. Okay. Again, both are direct questions from material. During the course of audit of treasurer, you are concerned with the quality and effectiveness of internal control. You want to evaluate the control environment. Now see, in your subject of auditing, last two lines of questions most important. Last two lines. Guide CA Gautam with well-defined SOPs in assessment and evaluation of control. Okay, to guide CA Gautam for well-defined SOP, we have direct question in our material. You have to check how is the delegation of responsibility, the financial and basically admin power are not there, there's a job rotation, wo sare points are covered here. Next one, during the audit of Acharya Limited, you observed that significant deficiency exists in internal control. Okay, what are the indicators of significant deficiency? What are the indicators of significant deficiency? Again, direct question. So, एक था factors affecting significant deficiency and indicators of significant deficiency. Question is indicators. Are you clear? Oh, control environment is not proper. Then you have absence of risk assessment process within an entity. वो सारे points थे ना? That is basically the answer. Next is your automated environment suggested approach to get the benefit of CAT. वो याद है एक छोटा सा डायग्राम जैसा था, स्टेप ऐसे जा रहे थे. Suggested approach to get benefit of CAT. First of all, understand this environment. Then, what is your objective? See which data is required. Extract the data. So that is your answer. Suggested approach to CAT. So till now, all these questions are fine. Now, next 16th one is important. This is a Caro question. Multiple clauses they have covered. Next one, 16th one is good. Okay, LIU Private Limited, authorized capital 200 lakh, paid up capital plus reserve is 95 lakh, and they given you following thing, borrowing 75 lakh, new loan 30 but you repaid it. Acha, borrowing is 75 plus you got 30, 105, but then you repaid. But can I say borrowing, my word was any time during the year? So any time during the year it is exceeding. Borrowing any time during the year is exceeding 1 CR. So as such, Caro is applicable. ठीक है. Now they have, there's a proceeding initiated against company for Benami property. Legal team has advised that the case will not withstand the law and it will be dismissed in April. Acha, case April mein it will go. But can I say 31st March case is going on? If 31st March case is going on for Benami property, you have to report about it in Caro. There's a specific clause for Benami property, it has to be reported. Okay, there's a cash loss in current year. Previous year was 15 lakh profit. Turnover of the company is 45 crores. Acha, now someone was asking that, sir, paid up capital is only 2 CR. तो सर small company हो जाएगी, but sir turnover is not 40, it's more than 40. So it's not a small company. 45, not a small company. For small company, now the turnover is 40. The turnover 45 Caro applicable. Turnover 45 Caro is applicable, and you have some cash losses. Yeah, there was a clause related to this. If you have a cash loss in current year and immediately preceding year, that is to be reported. This will be reported. This will be reported. Okay, now there's a difference of opinion between two articles. Two articles are fighting, Jack and Jill. Why they are fighting? Jack was of opinion that proceeding initiated under Benami property need not be disclosed. He feels that this is not to be disclosed. However, he insisted cash loss should be disclosed. Jill is of the opinion Caro is not applicable only. Jill is of the opinion Caro is not applicable only, and now they went to the partners to resolve. Partner Y supported Jack's viewpoint, partner S supported Jill's viewpoint. You are a senior partner, what you say? You are a senior partner, what you say? So over here, question number 16, if you check, so your Here. Total borrowing exceeded 1 crore as well as your turnover. Turnover is also greater than 40 crores. You are not coming in small company. Caro is applicable. Caro is applicable. Okay. Para 3 clause E point number 1 is related. Para 3 clause E is related to your Benami property wala thing, that is applicable. So you are required to report. The observation shall be disclosed, needs to be disclosed. Second one, cash losses, is para number 17. So clause 17, cash losses should be reported, needs to be reported. Cash losses needs to be reported. Achha, there's one more point of resignation. Let me check. There's one more. Here. During the year, Y an associate offered resignation. Later, they decided to postpone the resignation. Okay, so auditor gave resignation, but they did not resign. If auditor resigns, there is a clause in Caro which is to be reported. So they resigned, whether we considered their reasons of resignation, etc. But here they have not resigned only. As they have not resigned, this is not applicable. So check. So clause 18, clause number 18, resignation has not happened. There is no resignation, this clause not applicable. No resignation, this clause not applicable. Clear? So this was a good question covering many clauses. Not a difficult, but good one covering many clauses. This could have been asked for 12 marks. Okay, now there's an aging schedule given to you of trade payable. Trade payable aging schedule. MSME is not there. Others may less than 1 year overdue, then 1 to 2 years, 2 to 3 years, more than 3 years. So can I say almost all your trade payables are overdue for more than 1 year? Out of 10, 8 are overdue for more than 1 year. Out of your trade payable 10, 8 are overdue for more than 1 year. Plus all your ratios. Your ratios are all in red. Oh, the ratios are also negative. The trade payable overdue for more than 1 year majorly. Ratios are all in red. You have a cash credit facility. There are no debit transaction. The stock auditor had commented a negative drawing power and the bank has refused further debits. The bank has stopped giving extra credit to you. And there are no future contract to boost the revenues, all these things. So can I say this all indicates what? Your trade payables are overdue since long. Bank has stopped giving you cash credit extra. Your ratios are all in negative. Can I say this indicator of going concern ka issue? This indicates a going concern issue. Now, whenever there's a going concern issue, I'm not telling you are not a going concern. I'm not telling you not, but there are definitely problems of going concern if it is adequately disclosed in financials. If it's adequately disclosed in financials, I give a clean report with additional para drawing attention. So this is a material uncertainty related to going concern. If adequately disclosed, clean report plus extra para. Now, there is no information in financials about this. There's no information of financials about this. So there's a material uncertainty related to going concern not disclosed properly in financials. We are required to give a modified report. What you should do? Modify the report. So check solution. You will modify the report. Qualified or adverse depending on whatever you feel. Modify the report. Okay, next one, C point. Next one, C point. The company, while preparing financials, have prepared one additional P&L, which has only specific income, specific expenditure. So you have prepared normal P&L, balance sheet, cash flow. One extra P&L you have prepared. As an auditor, do I need to audit that? Extra P&L. Can I say it's a supplementary information presented with the financials? Normal P&L, extra, some additional P&L covering specific income, specific expenses. So it's a supplementary information presented. If it's a part of financial statement, it has to be audited. If it is not a part of financial, it has to be differentiated. If it is not differentiated, you are required to write about it in other matter paragraph. That's the answer, SA 700. SA 700, supplementary information presented with financial. Normally, it is not an integral part, so you need to evaluate it is differentiated. If not differentiated, you are required to write about it in other matter paragraph. Are you clear? 18th, very simple one. Whether all components have been included or not. How do you verify? The all subsidiary, associate, JV. So, state the procedure to be followed by CA Vishud for completeness of information. You are verifying whether all components have been included or not. The direct question which is there in our material from there. Now, this one is good one. 19th one is good. Nineteenth one is a good question. Now you're having a cash credit facility. Now if you remember for bank OD and cash credit, when do I say it's NPA? For bank OD and cash credit, when do I say it's NPA? वहाँ पे word overdue is not written. If it is out of order. If bank OD and CC is out of order, it is said to be NPA. And when there are no credit in account for constant 90 days, it's out of order. So there are no credit in account or credit are not even sufficient to cover the interest. याद है? If there are no credit or credit are not even sufficient to cover interest, it will be out of order. Check over here. So you have a credit facility sanctioned by Nariman Point Mumbai branch 250 crores. ठीक है, तो Mumbai branch has sanctioned 250 crores of credit facility to you. There are various sub limits. अच्छा, sub limits भी है. For operations at your different branches, you operate not in Bombay, you operate in various. The main branch, Bombay branch has given you a CC facility of 250 crore and usme you have some sub limits which are at various sub-rate branches. So out of 250 crore, you can have 10 crore at Solapur branch, you can have 20 crore at Pune branch, you can have 50 crore at Nasik branch. Sub limits are also there. Now, Solapur branch may you notice there are no credit transaction, only in Solapur branch. There are no credit transaction for more than 90 days. Discuss the approach CA Munni, the statutory auditor, should follow for asset classification. Oh, Chhata, now question. I have 250 crore CC. 250 crore CC. Sanctioned by Mumbai branch. But it is now divided. Okay, so Mumbai is, say for example 200 crore, Solapur is say 10 crore, Pune and Nasik is, say for example 20 crore. Now Solapur mein there are no credits in 90 days. So should this account be classified as NPA? Solapur mein there are no credit for 90 days. Should this account be classified as NPA? Now, who is the sanctioning authority? Mumbai branch. So whatever Mumbai branch does, that is what Solapur has to do. So for Mumbai branch there are credits. Mumbai branch mein credit hai, so it's not with only Solapur. I have to see the total way. So don't think only from Solapur angle, you have to think it from total angle. So check. Discuss the consideration for classifying at Solapur branch also. To check out the solution. This is a good one. Sometimes the customer is sanctioned a cash credit limit at one branch but is authorized to utilize at several branches. So in determination of status, what do we need to do? It should be with reference to the overall sanction limit and not with reference to each branches. The overall sanction limit needs to be checked. The auditor of limit sanctioning branch should see the particulars of transaction in the account at sublimit branch and whether the status has been determined. The status has been determined considering the total position. The limit sanctioning branch should examine the status has been based on total position of operation at all branches. All branches. The standalone matter of no credit branch is, no credit in Solapur branch is irrelevant. Okay, for sublimited branches, the classification adopted by the main branch should be followed. तो if Mumbai branch follows it is performing, तो Solapur branch के लिए भी performing. If Mumbai branch says it is performing, for Solapur branch also it is performing. Did you got it? Did you got it? This is a good question. Thank you. Chalo, next. Question 20. You have some duty drawback 4 CR, which is credited in PNL. And there's some 5 lakh duty drawback not credited to PNL. So if you remember tax audit clause 16B. Yeah, tax audit clause 16B. If you have some rebate, duty drawback, something escalation wala thing not credited to PNL, that is to be reported. The first one it is credited to PNL, no problem at all. Second one not credited to PNL will be reported in your clause 16B of tax audit report. Check out here, clause 16B form 3CD. Acha, so first you have to tell your procedure. So you will check all these things. And second it has not been credited to PNL. It has to be reported. Okay, this all is fine. Next, audit of PSU. Okay, now Dheeraj has a question. That's if Solapur branch had more amount, what will you do? See dear, we need to first of all understand Mumbai branch is sanctioning authority. So Mumbai branch will decide the status performing, non-performing based on overall position. So Mumbai branch is sanctioning authority. They will decide performing, non-performing based on overall position. Okay? And whatever status Mumbai branch has decided, the sub-branch has to take that classification. If Mumbai branch says performing, for Solapur also it is performing. Are you clear, Dheeraj? Amount doesn't matter. You have to see first of all, the sanctioning branch will see what? Overall operation and then decide. And whatever sanctioning branch has decided, the sub-branch has to take that classification. Whatever sanctioning branch has decided, the sub-branch has to take that decision. Now, audit of PSU, it was a wholly owned by central government, but they divested 40%. Okay, it was a wholly owned by central government, now 40% is divested. So can I say still 60% with government? It's still 60% with government. Can I say it's still a government company? Okay. Now it's also listed on BSC. So company is of opinion, now we are listed, we are governed by SEBI norms. CAG has no role. So they are telling now we are listed, CAG has no role. This is wrong. Still you are government company. Auditor will be appointed by CAG. They can give guidance to your auditor, what to do, how to do, all that thing. So this is not valid. A direct question from a material. Next one. Okay, this is a good question. This is a good question. Again, a bit new. As such easy, but it's a new type of question. So, Caro question was good. Then bank audit, the question was good. And this due diligence, investigation, forensic audit, this question is good. CS Sanjana is a credit manager in a bank. And someone approached bank to get a credit facility of 10 CR. Someone approached bank to get a credit facility, how much? 10 CR. Okay. So you are a credit manager, someone wants a loan of 10 CR. You check the past history, you check promoter ka background, you check the shareholding pattern, you check the business, you do some SWOT analysis, you check the net worth of directors, you check the CIBIL score, all this you are checking. So before granting loan, you're checking all these things. Ye kya hai? Identify activity being performed. Ye kya hai? And discuss the nature. What is she doing? She also asked some few other clients of bank which are in similar line of business about the company, promoters, etc. So before granting loan, I'm checking all these things. What I'm doing? Tell me क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं? Due diligence. What I'm doing? Due diligence. अच्छा. Would your answer be different if this activity was performed by other than CA? See, due diligence can be performed by any person. Due diligence can be performed by any person. So would your answer be different if it was done by any other person? No. If someone else was doing all these things, still we call it as due diligence. तो धीरज यहाँ पे word they will use is not investigation, they've used as due diligence. So before granting a loan, we are doing a detailed due diligence whether we should grant or not. Acha, can a non-CA perform this activity? Answer is yes. And third, name any 3 areas. Name other 3 areas where you can do due diligence. Okay, other 3 areas jump at due diligence. Can I say basically for takeover of someone's business? It can be there. For coming out with the IPO, वहाँ पे due diligence होता है. तो many other things can be there. तो check out यहाँ पे. The activity described is a due diligence. There will be no difference in answer. The due diligence can be done by any person. Other 3 areas where it can be there: corporate restructuring, venture financing, public offering. Are you clear? What she is doing, she is basically doing what? Due diligence. And it can be done as such by any person. Next one, question 23. Okay, now this is on quality review board. Is there any change in quality review chapter? Is there any change in quality review? Peer review में है. Quality review में is there any change? No. No change in quality review. This is important. Mark it as important. Quality review में there is no change at all. Now, the quality review board, you are having a panel. They want to do some reviews. They've selected the following. The panel contains list of following entities. Okay, following entities ka list they've selected. Now, if you remember, if a entity falls in NAFRA, yaad hai NAFRA rules section 132. If you are falling in NAFRA rules, the QRB can take them for quality review only if NAFRA recommends. ऐसा याद है? QRB can take them for basically quality review only if NAFRA recommends. Okay, so check over here. Your listed entity falls under NAFRA. Listed entity falls under NAFRA. Then insurance company falls under NAFRA. And insurance company falls under NAFRA. Turnover more than 1,000 crore falls under NAFRA. So this falls in NAFRA, this falls in NAFRA, this falls in NAFRA. So actually they can take only AAZ. Only one they can take. Is the inclusion of names in the draft panel proper? Is the inclusion of names draft panel proper? Answer is no. So you have to describe which companies fall in NAFRA. Listed aa gaya. Then paid up capital 500 crores or more, turnover 1,000 crores or more, loans 500 crores or more. Banking company, insurance company. So 1,000 crore turnover came, listed came, insurance company came. So they cannot be taken. So in only AAZ is proper, others are not proper. Did you understood this question? Did you understood this question? Okay, next one, question number 24. Next one, question 24. You are a practicing chartered accountant. During the weekend, you do some equity research and you advise your friend about investing in equity. You advise your friends, clients, known people, friends, relatives, etc. You're doing equity research. Remember, chartered accountant in practice can become an equity advisor, but he cannot publish equity reports. Research reports you can't publish. You can become an advisor, but you cannot publish research report. Is he publishing the reports? He gives advices to friends, relatives, other people. Is he publishing a research report? No, you're not publishing research report. Chalega. This is fine. This is fine. Second is a paper setter. Paper setter for some account subject in a school. That is generally permitted. Plus you have a land, you do agriculture. That is also generally permitted. That is also generally permitted. Okay, now in agricultural activity, there was some natural calamity. You lost a lot of money. Or natural calamity, you lost lots of money. And because of that, you are undischarged insolvent. But after few hearing, you become a discharge insolvent and you got a certificate from a court telling that your insolvency was due to misfortune. If I'm a discharge insolvent, I should have got a certificate. If I'm a discharge insolvent, I should have got a certificate that my insolvency was due to misfortune. Otherwise, I'm guilty of professional misconduct. So he is having, otherwise I'm disqualified. Disability is to be a member. He is having that certificate. He is having a certificate that his insolvency was caused due to misfortune. So he is not disqualified. तो comment check करो solution. This is again a good one. Okay, so S is involved in doing equity research, advising. He is not publishing any retail report. Not guilty. Not guilty. Okay, he's a paper setter as well as doing agricultural activity. Both come under generally permitted. Generally permitted. No specific permission required. No specific permission required. So not guilty. Acha, he's a discharge insolvent. He's a discharge insolvent, but he has got a certificate. He has obtained a certificate telling that his insolvency was due to misfortune. He has not violated section 8. He has not violated section 8. So this question is also a good one. So 4 questions I like till now. This is also a good one. 25th, classification of NBFC based on their activity. This is as per the amendment. If you just recall, peer-to-peer lending, yeah, aggregator wala thing, or else you're not having a customer interface wala thing, you fall in base layer. Or base layer mein aate ho. Deposit taking, core investment company, infra finance company, housing finance company, they fall in middle layer. Others like investment and credit companies plus your mortgage wala thing, yeah, factoring wala NBFCs, they can fall in any of the layer depending on what, whether they're deposit taking, not depositing, kind of that. Okay, then government companies, government NBFCs will be falling only under top or middle, only under basically base layer or middle layer. They will not fall under upper layer. So this is categorization based on activity, amendment wala question. Role of risk management company, this was amendment in November 22. This was amendment in November 22 RTP. This is also good. And qualities of operational auditor, direct question from material. Done. Any doubts? Anybody from your side? Any doubts? Anybody from your side? I'll just show you this classification of NBFC, what we have to write. If you have any doubt, please tell me. The full RTP with all your amendments, we have discussed it. Okay, so this is NBFC and the question was classification based on specific activity. This was the answer. Classification based on activity. So P2P, aggregator, non-financial holding company, without customer interface, they fall in base layer. Deposit taking, CIC, IFC, HFC, they fall in middle layer. Remaining NBFCs can be in any layer. Government wala only in base or middle layer. Achha, Jacob has a question, sir. Will there be amendment in risk management committee in November 23? Dear, November 22 exam RTP, when we discussed, we already had covered the latest role of basically your risk management committee. So better you prepare from there. So it was already covered in November 22 RTP. Okay, Dheeraj has a question, sir. In question 23, what is being asked? Can you please explain again? Let me just go to question 23. Okay, Dheeraj, question number 23. See, there's a panel created. They are submitting to quality review board the list of entities whose quality review should be done. Is the inclusion of names proper? That is a question. Is the inclusion of name? See, this is the name of the auditor. They are doing audit of this kind of thing. See, if that auditor or they are doing this kind of audit, if they are covered under NAFRA rules, their quality review can be done only when it is recommended by NAFRA. Yaad aaya? Their quality review can be done only when recommended by NAFRA. Let me show you that. Chalo, the scope and quality yahan pe. Okay, now see, selection of audit firms. Selection of audit firm entity other than those covered in NAFRA rules. Other than those covered in NAFRA rules. Those who are covered in NAFRA rules. Those who are covered in NAFRA rules, they can be considered only when NAFRA recommends. Those who are covered in NAFRA rules, they can be covered only when NAFRA recommends. Otherwise, they can't take it. So on reference put to it by NAFRA, तभी आ जाएगा. Are you clear? Any other doubts? Any other doubts? Please make sure you recommend to watch this RTP to your friends as well. See, when you do on your own, that clarity will not be coming up, especially with this time the amendments what they've given now. Imagine a base topic is not there in your material and they give amendment related to that. So relative fees, then there was a point related to tax services by chartered accountant. That amendments of professional ethics what they've given, the base provision only is not there in our material. So why did they give it? I don't know. That's ICI. Okay, and just one sentence for you. Just one sentence for you. You're preparing for your examination. Exams are very near. Last 1.5, 2 months are pending till the exam is getting over. Now, we need to understand these 2 months are the most crucial for you. And you need to ensure you're giving everything in these 2 months. And that's why they say starters are many, but finishers are few. Yeah, starters are many, but finishers are few. I want you all to complete your exam in a style. You're finishing off your CA final in a style. Make sure you come out as a finisher, a successful finisher. All the best to all of you. Any doubts if you're having, I'm always there for you. You can ping me up. And yes, there is a doubt currently from Jacob. Sir, if you have doubt regarding audit of financial reporting, can we clear the doubts? Definitely. FR doubts, audit doubts, whatever you have, you can definitely tell me. If you want to ask it right now, you can ask it. Or else if you want to ping me up, you have my number, etc. Or if you just go and search on Telegram, CA Niket Thacker discussion group, you'll find out. So on Telegram, just write CA space Niket space Thacker space discussion group. You'll get over there. Okay, so chalo. All the best to all of you. Bye-bye, tata, and take care.